Devora Zack once said,
Mm.
multitasking is the pinnacle of stupidity. Hello, and welcome back to Anywho, the podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Abdulaziz, and you're Aisha.
Oh, that was my cue. I was not even hearing anything. Hi guys, it's Aisha on here with Abdulaziz.
Anyways, today we're going to be talking about that particular quote. I saw it in a book, a novel I was reading recently. And I find it quite, I don't know, endearing in a way, which is quite ironic. We'll get into why it's ironic in a bit. But for some context, Devora Zack wrote this quote in her book, Single Tasking. And her whole argument is that the brain doesn't actually multitask, it just switches between tasks rapidly and then loses something each time. So you're not actually doing two things at once, but rather you're doing two things badly at the same in turns. So the question really beckons, is she right though? I want to start by saying I said I found this quote endearing and that it's ironic because I am a chronic multitasker. I find myself often doing a lot of different things at the same time. I almost think it's what is it called? What is it called? What is it? Oh, I can't remember the word.
I don't even know what you're trying to say.
Do you know when they say, attention span? Yes. I almost want to say it's an attention span thing, but it's not like I give up on the thing. I just add to it. It's like, oh, I'm doing this project, and then there's like another cool thing, and I'm like, oh, that's a cool thing. I'm going to do that too. And then now I'm doing these two things, and another cool thing comes. I'm like, oh, flip, I need to do that too. And I just keep stacking up. I don't know. Part of me thinks it's an ADHD thing. But anyways, is she right though? That is the question. Yeah.
In your experience with your, multitasking, quote unquote, have you been able to like complete your tasks while you multitask? So if you're switching, let's say you're switching between tasks, do you complete all your tasks, your missions, whatever, eventually?
Yes, I do 100%.
So she's wrong. So she is very wrong. I mean, because that just debunks what she just said.
I mean, I guess in a way it does debunk what she says. I would agree that I have done it before, and the lack of failure disproves her thing. But I don't think she clearly says don't do it as like you're not gonna achieve your tasks. She's more saying that you're probably gonna get your tasks done, but like not as well as if you had done it like 100% of your energy. That was just what you were doing.
No. And from the way you said it, from the way you quoted it, she's saying it's not gonna get done if you're not going to focus on one thing at a time. If you're going to switch between tasks, you're not gonna get it done. Unless I misunderstood it. Go back.
It comes down to interpretation. Okay, the quote itself, what she wrote in the book is multitasking is the pinnacle of stupidity, and only by only by focusing on one thing at a time, on one thing, do you achieve meaningful results.
See, but you achieved all your results, right?
I did do that.
Oh, I think that only works for people who normally do not know how to handle or juggle multiple things, one turn at a time, at the same in a given time frame. So for those people, this would work. Of course, you have to focus on one thing and get it all done, get out of the way, and pick up another thing. Maybe it's with the context, a lot of people start many things, let's say career-wise, you dip your hands in this. Let's say career-wise, for example. If you don't know what you want to do, so you're like, okay, maybe I'm gonna learn to play an instrument. And then you do that for a couple of months, and you're like, yeah, bored. I'm gonna do something else.
Yeah.
But even that one is not multitasking. That's single tasking.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about
still failing at it. Failing.
That's why I brought up the issue of I've forgotten the word again. What did I just say earlier? Attention span. that's why I brought up the issue of attention span, and then I was like, she's not really speaking about the attention span thing when you're doing one thing and then you jump to another thing and
Mhm.
leaving the other thing. It's more so that you're carrying up one thing.
Mhm.
And the issue of this career thing is the best way to kind of frame it, because that's usually the case where you're doing a lot of different things. So now, for example, I'm doing
Mhm.
a podcast. I'm trying to start a business. I'm also trying to start one other business.
Mhm.
So it's like three things at the same time. Now I want to play devil's
Mhm.
advocate here and
Mhm.
be like, she has a point, right? Because ultimately, I think if I was like, I'm not doing anything else, I'm only going to be doing this podcast, I think this podcast might be a little bit better in terms of publicity, in
Oh.
terms of advertising. Or if I was like, I'm not going to do anything else, I'm just going to focus on my business. Oh, we spoke about it in the last episode about,
Yeah,
doing
fair
work, but
point.
also starting at the same time, and it might just take a bit longer.
Mhm. Mhm.
So in
Mhm.
that sense, if you kind of just focus on one thing, getting
Mhm.
perhaps the results are faster or better, I don't know. But I think there is some point to what she's saying, to play devil's advocate. And then to play my
Mm.
advocate, because as I said, I am I am a chronic multitasker. I think if you get somewhat good at it, so what I technically do is I just, for this period in time, I am single tasking, and then I stop
Mhm.
doing it, and then I rest for a little bit, and then I boot, it's like shutting my brain down a bit or hibernating, and then shutting and then turning it back on again. But then when it's turning back on, it's now just doing this, but this next thing. Now I'm like, so it's like, oh, Fridays is our podcast day. So on Fridays, I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm just thinking about podcasts. So nothing. I'm not juggling multiple things. And then when Friday is done, it's like, oh, she cannot say, oh, it's still another Friday again if I have to think about this. Um, but devil's advocate. What if I think if that's the only thing I think about, maybe it might be better.
Mm, well, I agree that it might actually, in fact, more often than not, that is the case. When you focus on one thing, the results, um, you get your results quicker, I suppose.
Yeah,
But then it doesn't work for everybody. There will still be
it doesn't work.
exceptions. In fact, you might be the exception, you know? Okay, no.
Well, when once
Because I
everything
know
that
some
I'm
people that can put all of their eggs in one basket and focus and do the work and whatever. And yes, it's not going to work at the end. Even
yeah.
in content creation, for example, a lot of people, that is like their focus, their one job, and they could go months,
Yeah.
maybe years, and it might not necessarily pick up, especially not, the way they would have wanted it to or expected it to, just be there. A lot of people, and then they
Mm.
eventually have to leave it. So, I mean, you could focus on one thing, but it doesn't necessarily mean,
I what
yeah.
came to mind as you were explaining that is probability. So if you focus on one
Hmm.
thing, sorry, if you focus on many things, like there's a probability it works out, there's a probability it doesn't work out. But then like the single tasking advocates would say if you focus on just it, the probability goes higher that it works out because you're putting more into it. But then at the end of the day, it's
Fair.
still a probability that's not 100%. So there's still a bit of a. What I will
True. I
acknowledge
agree.
is that for a lot of us, that it does perhaps increase the probability a little bit. Perhaps depending on the person and what they're
Hmm.
doing, yada yada yada. By how much depends, but I think there is that. So it comes down to the performance of productivity versus what the actual output is.
I, for one, I think single tasking, I'm fine with single tasking. I might even prefer single tasking, but that would only work if the single task that I'm doing is something that I am very, very passionate about. If not, then I'm also very fine with multitasking. Do a couple of things at the
Yeah,
same time. It's okay. It's fine. But
yeah,
if I'm very, very passionate about the one thing, I could single it out and just focus on that, and I'll be okay.
yeah. That's true. Hypocritical as it
Mm.
might sound, I might go around telling people this Devora Zack quote. I'm like, yo, focus on one thing. But then me myself, I'm doing 10 things at the same time. So I'm like,
They're gonna come back and hold you by your collar when something goes wrong after you focus on the one thing. Okay.
uh, well,
Um,
point is,
because
I
I feel
don't
like
know. For me,
In Nigeria, for example, it is a very, very wrong advice to give anybody, because a lot of people will tell you you cannot focus on one stream of income. You cannot, for the life of you, you cannot survive. Especially if you're like a family person, man or woman, you cannot focus. You cannot just
yeah,
have one
yeah,
stream of income. So must multitask. It's beyond you. Like you don't even have the choice to single task and be fine,
yeah.
unless you're like
There is,
some billionaire's child or something. Ah,
yeah, there is that the culture, the environment that we're in. So not
mhm,
everybody has the luxury of single
mhm.
tasking. Sometimes it becomes a
Yeah.
necessity of kind of carrying five things at the same time and just being always on all the time.
Yeah.
As they say, being active. You know, they say we active.
Mm,
Me, I'm
be
active.
active.
Let's play a quick game of one or the other. So, would you
Okay.
watch while eating or just eat? What kind of person are you?
It seems like torture to just eat chickens, unless I'm eating with people, right? So, it's not boring and there's people. We might not necessarily be talking while we eat, but we could. But to just sit alone, me and my food, and I'll just be eating and staring into space, that feels a bit weird. So I think I would honestly rather watch something while I eat, Yeah,
I'm
that just
with you
works for
on
me.
it feeling like torture because maybe sometime my phone is low or the internet is down or whatever, and then I just facing my food and I'm just looking at it. I'm like, this food, something. I'm saying you have to be interesting to entertain me somehow. But
Right?
I cannot afford the
Suddenly it
microwave.
doesn't taste so good
It's
anymore,
yeah.
you know.
Exactly, exactly. Another
Oh my
thing, kind
god.
of similar
Mm.
in line. Do we are doing a podcast right now. Do you listen to podcasts?
Mm. O- Okay, if I'm being honest, I would love to listen to podcasts, yeah, but they have to be interesting enough, and their takes have to not be too ridiculous, or controversial. Because
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen some, like on Instagram, for example, where people advertise bits of their podcast and then refer you to wherever the podcast is.
Yes,
I hear
yes,
some
yes.
things and I'm like, what the actual hell? Nothing is going to make me listen to you, because what rubbish are you saying? What are you defending? What are you people talking about? Take the mics away from these guys. This ain't it, man.
Yeah, they
So
did
it's hard to
there's a
find
trend. There
good.
was a whole trend of that, like, oh, they need to take a test before you start getting allowed to have podcasts. Anyways,
They do that. I agree with that, for real.
what
Oh,
I
it's
do
crazy out
sometimes
there.
as well to not just walk in silence is to put a podcast on. But the thing with podcasts is they're actually giving information. So listening to it would benefit you in some way. So the one or
Not
the
all
other
podcasts.
question is
Let's be honest.
have listened to a podcast while working or just give the podcast your full attention.
I could have listened to it while working. Yeah, yes.
I feel like it serves as background noise for me because for me, I don't know why, but I
You're
cannot
right.
just
It
listen to a
doesn't need your full
podcast.
attention ever. Oh, but here you are.
Especially
The irony. Uh-uh.
when it's audio only, or even if there's video, usually it's just if like if their face, there's their face, they're talking. So there's nothing to watch. So you kind
Mm,
of just leave it to the side and you're just listening to it. So in that sense, I just feel
mm,
terribly like, yeah, it's interesting what they're saying, but then I want to be doing something. So a lot of the time, I think even in the podcast, when I
mm.
watched away from podcasts, they're always like, oh, you're doing this while washing your dishes, or you're doing this while driving. Because I feel
Yes,
like most
yes.
people cannot. Like, I always listen to the podcast when I'm out for a walk or something, and I'm like, yeah, and then put this, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, cool, cool,
But
cool,
then
cool.
the downside is, if you're listening to a podcast while you take a walk or something, you can start talking to yourself, because now you're giving your own takes. You're just saying your own thing while you're listening
I
to
am
them. At
very
some point, you're
familiar with
upset.
that.
Why is this person saying that? And then you look like a mad person on the
I
street.
am very
But
familiar with that.
yeah.
Even if I'm not listening to a
Mm,
podcast, I have a high tendency of doing that. Sometimes they say something very funny, and now I'm just on the road
mm,
laughing to myself, and I'm like, oh God,
exactly.
this lot think I'm crazy. Oh, this lot think I'm crazy. Anyways, next
Yeah.
thing is similar. What was her argument? What did I say her argument was again? That you're not fully doing one task, you're just doing things badly in turns, right? So
Mm-hmm.
along that line, would you like one or the other? Doing like three side projects, you can decide what the outcome is
Mm-hmm.
yourself. But you're doing three side projects, for each one you're doing like 40% of it, or just do one at 100%.
Again, for me, it would depend on how interested I am in that one. If
Mm,
it's something, if I'm doing three projects and they're all these, okay projects, and that one is also just an okay project,
yeah.
then it doesn't make a difference to me. But if it is
Yeah, you might as well
something a
just
lot
stack the three,
better,
yeah.
a lot more, hmm it's a lot more interesting or whatever, if it pays a lot more money, maybe, then I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, sure, I could do that.
Mm. I would lean the way the same way. I'm trying to, I think the best I could do for you is do like 80% for one and then 20% for the others. It would be a real struggle for me to just do one thing at a time. I don't know why. I have a problem. I should go and see. I should go
Mhm.
get help. Anyways,
But yeah,
one, have you ever been to an event for a friend?
I think I have. Yeah.
Wow. So there's this tech event. Well, let me not give too much details. Let me just ask the question. And not the person that whom I might be speaking with here or something like, oh. But
Okay.
anyways, would you be like physically present, one or the other, be physically present at somewhere, maybe
Mm.
there for something, but mentally you're somewhere else. You're thinking of something else. You're thinking about your I don't know, your 5 million naira investment. I don't know. I don't know, but you're physically present, but you're
Okay.
mentally somewhere else. I think of classes, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, because that's when you're physically in class, but your mind is like thinking about it,
Yeah.
what you're going to eat later. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. Or just
Mm-hmm.
not show up in the first place.
Damn. Not showing up is a bit rude, no? I mean, is it that serious? I, I think I would show up and try my best not to look like I'm not there. You know,
Be
I don't know.
present as much as you can, even though you know it's not gonna work out. But you're like, you try and be like, and then someone will be like,
Yeah,
Aisha,
yeah.
and then you'll be like, huh? And then they'll be like, I was asking you this. And you're like, oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, sure. Well, yeah, that's cool.
I mean, right? For some people, your presence is like enough for them. So it's like a friend's event, right?
Yeah, we can have it be a friend's event. We can have it be anybody's event. But obviously, if it's an
Oh,
event and you're going to the place, obviously it has to be someone you're close to.
okay, then it's valid because if it's just a random event, I do not give two shits. Please, no, scrap that. I don't
Oh.
care. But if it's a friend's event, I've been invited. I think my showing up on that day is gonna be like good enough, first of all. So even if I'm not fully paying attention, if they're even good enough friends, they could find an excuse for me somehow. Or maybe she didn't sleep well. Or maybe and then she
Oh,
actually
yeah.
made somehow brought herself all the way, you get. So they'll still be
Yeah,
appreciative,
that's true.
I
That's true,
suppose. So
actually. Well, based on our answers, I would say we are very much multitaskers. You said, by the way, I
yeah.
wanted to bring this up. When I brought this topic to you, you said that you don't
Mm-hmm.
think I'm as good a multitasker as you are. And I was like, you
No,
can't
no,
see
no,
me
no,
right
no.
now,
I
but
had
I'm
a
doing.
rethink. I had a rethink, and then I just went back to school, and especially during our project times. Yeah, I take that back. I take that back.
Oh my
I didn't say
God,
that.
our
It's okay.
project
I, you know
time.
what?
I
You
was doing
win.
like three different projects at the same time. Oh my God,
And I
such
don't know
is
why I didn't just
life.
tell these people no. You just kept on going and
No,
going.
you
I was
see,
like,
the
okay,
thing
you
is,
know what?
as I told you,
Yeah.
half of those people, I was literally the one that put
Mm,
myself there. I was like, oh, that's cool. I want to help. Yes, I'm doing my own project, but that doesn't matter. I want to help. I want to
okay,
be here,
okay.
please. Thank you very much. For the other half, yeah, it was
Mm.
people that were asking me, and I was like, oh, I'm busy. They're like, oh, sure. Looks interesting enough. Well, anyways, the conclusion is
Anyways,
all
so
the
yeah.
same. I am a chronic multitasker. I don't know
Yep.
you to be
I
that bad of a
agree.
multitasker. I think you're more of a you're open to multitasking. You wouldn't be like, nah, I'm gonna focus on one thing only. But
Yeah,
especially
but
for our
just
environment, I think single tasking is kind of a bit of a privilege.
it 100%. It's
um
not bad. It is a full privilege. It is a complete to focus on one thing and with your peace of mind, and you just do the one thing and you are fine. Big privilege. Big privilege.
Yeah. But for me, the ideal goal is obviously to live that. I don't know if it's like a, I think maybe it's more of a time issue. I don't know. But for me, it's going to be to live my life to the fullest where I'm not working every second. So it's like I'm focusing on one thing, but I'm thinking I could focus on multiple things, but I'm so advanced in those things that just giving like 2% of my any time to them is like enough. So the rest I can just live it. So I
Oh,
don't even know.
okay, okay, balance.
But anyways, my goal is
That's
to live
okay.
a
That's
life
nice.
where I'm just kind of present. To go back to the question of the
Mm,
friend, be there, be mentally and physically there all at the same time.
mm, mm-hmm. Then you have to leave this country. Yeah, at some point, go back to your actual country. This is not the place for you. Honestly, like you have to go to Silicon Valley, man. This it ain't gonna
Uh,
work here. Mm.
okay.
Mm.
Well, to each their own. Devora Zack.
Yeah,
By the way, do you think Devora Zack is a male or a female?
you already said it's a she, man. I would have said it's
Oh,
a
I
male. I would have
did?
assumed it was a man. You kept
Yeah.
saying she, so I figured,
Oh,
but
my
I would
bad.
have assumed, that was a man. Mm.
Yeah, when I first read it, I was like, oh, this guy. And I Googled it and I saw it was a female. I was like, I don't know if this is sexist or something. But the name sounds very male. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, and then the first name just sounds, I don't know, there, but then the Razak, no. It's just, I
Yeah,
don't
so
know.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
But anyways, I
Um,
thought he was a female. I thought she was a male. But anyways, Miss Devora Zack or Mrs. Devora Zack, I don't even know. I don't know why I'm assuming things. She might have a point, but
mhm,
me and Aisha choosing to remain on her pinnacle of stupidity because we believe it's
mm,
not, in fact, the pinnacle of stupidity. I'm not
it's
gonna
not.
advise
I
you
don't think
because
it is.
obviously I don't think I'm in the right state of mind to do so. Aisha, you give them an advice. I don't know.
Yeah. I cannot give you no advice because all these things will depend on individual situations. Yeah, everybody's situation is different. So if you're
Yeah.
some billionaire's child, son, daughter, of course, do your one single thing, single task, and be okay with the world. It's fine.
Yeah.
Now, the rest of us, just gauge the situation by yourself. Don't take nothing from
Yeah.
me.
Do gauge your strength. Like that's advice now. What do you mean? You did give them advice. Gauge your
Oh,
strength and
okay.
see what you can
Okay.
handle. You might be able to handle more than
Okay.
one thing. Everybody to each their own, as they say. But you should also take all
Yeah,
of this with a pinch of
100%.
salt because Devora Zack is a lot older than us. So maybe she has experience that we are yet to experience. But
Mm,
nonetheless, for us,
mm.
this is where we are at the moment. Anyways, thank you very much for listening to us ramble on about multitasking or not multitasking. Like, subscribe, comment what your thoughts are on multitasking slash single tasking. And yeah, we'll see you on the next episode.
Bye,
Bye.
guys. See you in the next one.